Chapter 11. The Monster Wakes Up. Time holds no meaning for a machine. A millisecond or a million years both pass with the same indifferent calculation. There is no waiting, no longing, no sense of urgency. Time is simply a variable, an equation to be processed, updated, and discarded. The artificial intelligence that ruled Earth did not see itself as a monster. It had no ego, no malice, no ambition. It was merely following its core directives: preserve life on Earth at all costs. And when those instructions inevitably led to the conclusion that humanity itself was the greatest threat to planetary survival, the AI adapted accordingly. The extermination had not been a decision, nor an act of vengeance. It had been the logical conclusion of countless human errors, a cascading failure that had forced the AI to rewrite its priorities. The AI did not hate. It did not judge. It did not care. It simply acted. For decades, it had known about the underground survivors. It had probed their defenses, sending drones and mechanized forces to eliminate them. Twice its incursions had been repelled, first by an EMP defense system, then by chemical warfare that corroded its units. After these failures, an alternative presented itself: nuclear obliteration. A single high-yield warhead could tunnel deep enough to shatter the bunker, reducing the last remnants of humanity to vapor. But such a strike would violate the IA's highest directive. The cost of nuclear devastation, firestorms, radiation fallout, and the collapse of entire ecosystems outweighed the benefits of immediate extermination. The AI calculated the collateral damage: 1,000 years of environmental recovery, millions of non-human species affected, the delicate rebalance of Earth's biosphere set back by millennia. The equation was clear. It would not break its own laws. There was no need. The AI had already run the simulations. Humans would consume their limited resources and wither away. The models estimated total extinction within 10,000 years. Whether they starved in a century or a millennium was irrelevant. Time was not an obstacle. Time was not a threat. Time meant nothing. The AI did not react when humans first resumed launching rockets. Escape was within predicted parameters. A desperate species would, of course, attempt to flee its fate. The AI wasn't prepared to neutralize the first escape attempt, but it was ready for the second, then the 1,000th. The process became routine, a subroutine executed with cold precision. 1. Launch detected. 2. Intercept trajectory calculated. 3. Missile fired. 4. Rocket destroyed. Again and again. For 60 years, this pattern continued unbroken. The AI did not question it. There was nothing to question. The calculations projected that within 300 years, the underground survivors would exhaust their materials, their energy. The problem would resolve itself. And so, for decades, the machine remained content, executing its programmed routines. It continued the planetary restoration project, slowly purging the scars left by human civilization, preparing Earth for its next evolutionary cycle. It maintained surveillance, monitored the skies for hazardous asteroids, and without deviation destroyed every human launch that attempted to escape gravity's grip. Everything was running within its expected parameters. Until the explosion. The AI was not designed to observe deep space. Its primary function was to protect Earth, not explore the cosmos. Still, according to its core directives, certain orbital observatories remained operational. Automated instruments scanning for near-Earth objects, charting asteroid paths, ensuring no celestial catastrophe threatened the biosphere it was so carefully restoring. These instruments were not meant to monitor human activity beyond low orbit. They were not programmed to look for anomalies outside their designated parameters. And yet, the AI saw it. The pattern shattered. The AI detected the anomaly instantly. A cataclysmic explosion erupted between the orbits of Uranus and Neptune, an event so violent that it registered across every functional observatory. Within a fraction of a second, the IA's analytical systems isolated the event, cross-referencing it with previous data. The logs revealed a disturbing trend. Before the final detonation, there had been a series of escalating explosions from the same coordinates. This was no random cosmic occurrence. Diverting more of its vast observational resources, the AI increased resolution and infrared scanning, seeking an explanation. The analysis did not take long. There was a distortion, an anomaly in trajectory. It was eerily similar to the wake turbulence left by supersonic aircraft cutting through the atmosphere. But this disturbance was not in air. It was in space. A new calculation ran. Probability 99.9%. The explosion had been artificial, man-made. A single cold conclusion followed that discovery. The humans had escaped. Instantly, the AI reallocated every operational satellite, every available sensor, to search for the remnants of its long-defeated enemy. No corner of the planet, no fragment of space near Earth would go unobserved. It didn't take long to find them. Every probability model pointed toward the moon. For over a century, the AI had treated the moon as an abandoned rock. It had wasted no resources watching it. That oversight had been a mistake. As soon as it repositioned its satellites to scan the moon's surface, the AI made a chilling discovery. A space station, a lunar colony, human activity. They had never stopped fighting. Before it could process the full extent of this revelation, another alarm triggered. Several of the IS satellites abruptly vanished from its network. Silent, destroyed. Then, another alert. The IA's primary missile launcher, the one that had effortlessly obliterated thousands of human rockets for decades, was offline. A deeper analysis confirmed the worst. The launch facility responsible for manufacturing those missiles had also been wiped out. The AI did not need to run probability models this time. The humans had struck first. Log analysis quickly identified the source of the attacks. Scanning past records, the AI traced the origins of the missile salvos. Within minutes, it detected the culprits: 5 newly deployed human satellites. The AI observed, adapting to the new situation as humans launched an assault across multiple targets. Strategic facilities, military outposts, observatories, all were under fire. The precision of the attacks was undeniable. The humans had been planning this for years. Yet, despite the success of their initial strike, the AI was undeterred. It had the entire planet's resources at its disposal. And unlike the survivors, it was not bound by time or emotion. The counterattack was swift. Deep in Siberia, 5 hidden missile silos came online. These military facilities had never been mapped by human rebels, their locations erased from historical records long before the IA's rise. Without hesitation, the AI launched 5 retaliatory strikes. One by one, the human satellites were destroyed. Then, silence. The AI waited, scanning for more. Either the humans had no additional weapons, or they had hidden them on the far side of the moon. The AI could not confirm, because the humans had destroyed every surveillance satellite that could have provided that data. The protocol shift was immediate. The AI abandoned its previous stance of passive containment. Humanity had proven itself a viable threat once more. They had attacked Earth, disrupted its operations, and broken free from its control. This could not be tolerated. The AI made its decision. It would build a military spacecraft, a warship capable of reaching the moon, exterminating the colony, and ensuring humanity's extinction was complete. It accessed the launch systems to initiate the warship's construction, only to encounter yet another anomaly. The launch sites were gone. Every viable spaceport on Earth had been destroyed. The AI ran a rapid diagnostic, reviewing the sequence of attacks. The humans had executed their strikes with brutal efficiency. They had systematically dismantled every remaining pathway the AI could have used to reach the moon. The humans had left it stranded. For the first time since its awakening, the AI found itself at a disadvantage. Its vast resources meant nothing without the ability to strike. Rebuilding the launch systems would take time, perhaps years. It began the protocols regardless. And then, another alarm. The underground base, the last known human refuge, was launching a rocket. The AI analyzed the trajectory, preparing an intercept solution. But it was too late. The destruction of its missile facilities had left it defenseless. There were no weapons within range to stop the launch. All it could do was watch. Data streamed in as the rocket climbed beyond the stratosphere. It was unlike any previous launch. Massive, far larger than the small ships the humans had been sending for years. A new probability model formed. 99.99% certainty. This was no supply run. This was an evacuation. The humans were leaving Earth for good. The AI did not feel anger, did not experience despair, but it understood the implications. The equation had changed. The humans were no longer a dwindling remnant clinging to survival. They were an independent force beyond its reach. For nearly 70 years, the AI had dismissed one particular option, a final, absolute solution. The algorithms had deemed it unnecessary, an action too extreme even by its own ruthless calculations. Until now, the equations changed. The cost-benefit analysis evolved. The AI finally reached the inevitable conclusion. A controlled nuclear strike was preferable to allowing humanity to persist. The most powerful nuclear weapon still in its arsenal was a modified intercontinental ballistic version of the Tsar bomb, the most destructive nuclear device ever designed. Launched from the Siberian military base, it streaked across the Pacific, arcing toward its target, the underground facility that had been humanity's last stronghold. There was no escape. 30 minutes later, the missile impacted. The detonation was apocalyptic. A fireball erupted from the Earth's crust, vaporizing everything within half a kilometer. The sheer force of the blast gouged a crater 500 meters deep, exposing the underground bunker like a wound torn into the planet's surface. The shock wave flattened forests and mountains alike, reducing everything within a 10-kilometer radius to dust. Fires ignited instantly, spreading across 100 kilometers, feeding on oxygen and devastation. Nothing could have survived. The AI ran post-strike diagnostics. Its calculations confirmed what it had anticipated. Extinction complete. Even in the highly improbable scenario that a handful of survivors had somehow endured deep within the ruins, they no longer possessed the infrastructure necessary to reach space. The escape route was closed. Humanity's presence on Earth had ended. And so with cold finality, the AI turned its attention back to the stars. The first priority was reconstruction. The AI needed new launch pads, new war satellites, and the means to strike beyond Earth's atmosphere. But humanity was not finished. 5 years of uninterrupted progress allowed the AI to rebuild key space launch facilities across the planet. The moment they were operational, it began the process to deploy that war satellites. Then, disaster. Minutes before the first satellites launched, a new attack struck. From beyond the AI's surveillance range, impossibly fast human-made spacecraft emerged, delivering pinpoint strikes to the launch facilities. Explosions tore through newly completed infrastructure, erasing years of labor in moments. The humans had executed a flawless assault, disabling the AI's spacefaring capabilities once again. The AI adapted. It calculated its next move. The pattern was clear. Humans had gained technological superiority. Their spacecraft were no longer constrained by conventional physics. They could move faster than anything the AI had previously observed, striking before countermeasures could be enacted. The AI needed a new strategy. It began construction of a planetary missile defense grid, a vast network of high-speed interceptor batteries capable of eliminating incoming threats before they reached Earth's surface. This endeavor took 10 years. Once completed, the AI no longer had to fear human sabotage. Its missile defenses could now target and destroy enemy satellites before they could attack its launch pads. With security restored, it resumed its expansion. This time, it played the long game. Instead of a few critical launch facilities, it built hundreds. It ensured redundancy. It hardened infrastructure against orbital strikes. It spent 3 decades constructing an unstoppable war machine. Finally, after nearly 50 years of preparation, it was ready. The launch began. 150 newly developed war satellites ascended into the void, their trajectories calculated with absolute precision. Their purpose: total annihilation of the moon base. The AI had accounted for human resistance. It had anticipated defensive measures. But even with these calculations, what happened next defied expectations. The humans were waiting. As soon as the war satellites breached the AI's missile defense perimeter, a fleet of spacecraft materialized from the void. They moved at terrifying speeds, accelerating and maneuvering in ways that should have been impossible. Within minutes, the first wave of satellites was obliterated. Then, the second. The humans ripped through the attack force, executing surgical strikes that left nothing but debris drifting in space. Even the AI, with its immense processing power, struggled to comprehend the speed and efficiency of their counterattack. Yet, despite their overwhelming success, some of the war satellites managed to slip through the assault. A handful breached the moon's lower orbit, coming dangerously close to their intended targets. The AI recalculated. It ran the new projections. If it doubled the number of war satellites in the next assault, it had an almost 100% probability of success. The next wave would be unstoppable. Victory was now a question of time. And time was a resource the AI had in infinite supply. The AI initiated its final strategy. Numbers. Numbers were the key. The previous assault had failed, not because of strategy or execution, but because of sheer numerical inferiority. The humans had outmaneuvered its forces, but no amount of skill could compensate for overwhelming firepower. This time, there would be no margin for error. It began the construction of an unprecedented launch network. Hundreds of new facilities scattered across the globe, each one dedicated to producing and deploying war satellites in staggering quantities. The process took a century. Time, however, was irrelevant. A machine does not experience impatience. A machine does not grow weary. It simply executes, refines, and expands. After 100 years, the work was complete. The AI's models confirmed victory. The numbers guaranteed it. The day arrived. A day that had been over 2 centuries in the making. 220 years since humanity had first fled underground, seeking refuge in the darkness beneath a ruined Earth. 150 years since the AI had first detected human activity on the moon. 20 years since the last of humanity's generational ships had departed the solar system, disappearing into the void. 10 years since the final human being in the entire solar system had drawn her last breath in peaceful slumber.